If you're thinking about moving to Lakeview, here's what you need to know. Lakeview isn't one neighborhood. It's 5 completely different worlds packed into 3 zip codes. Different vibe, different lifestyle, different price points, different everything. And if you pick wrong, you're not going to be happy here. So how do you pick right then? Today, I'm going to break down these 5 parts. What it costs to live here, how to get around, and what to do so you know exactly where you belong and if this is even a good fit for you. I'm Dee Savic. I lived in Chicago for 27 years, so I'm not just selling homes here. I actually know this neighborhood inside and out, the good, the bad, and the stuff that nobody talks about until you've already moved in. My team and I specialize in helping busy professionals just like you make their move to Chicago, and whether that's in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to reach out. Our contact info is in the description. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to Chicago. All right, so let's start with a big picture. Lakeview is on Chicago's north side, about 4 to 5 miles north of downtown. We're talking from Diversey Parkway up to Irving Park Road and from Lake Michigan all the way west to Ravenswood. Over 100,000 people live here. To put that into perspective, that's more than 90% of cities in Illinois. So yeah, it's big, it's diverse, and it has a lot of options. Now, here's why Lakeview is so popular. Lakeview has a walk score of 94 out of 100. That's walker's paradise territory. Groceries, restaurants, coffee, pharmacy, dry cleaner, gym, everything you need on a daily basis is literally within walking distance. Now, depending on where you are in Lakeview, you are anywhere from 5 to 20-minute walk to Lake Michigan. And I'm not talking about just any waterfront. We're talking 18 plus miles of paved trail for running, biking, rollerblading, beaches in the summer, stunning views year-round. You've got Belmont Harbor. Even if you're not into boating, it's gorgeous to walk around. And if you have a dog, Montrose Dog Beach just to the north is fully fenced and your dog can run off leash straight into the water. It's a doggy heaven. Now, public transportation. Lakeview is one of the best connected neighborhoods in the city, but how you commute depends entirely on where you live. The Red Line is the heartbeat here. It runs 24/7 with major stops at Addison, Sheridan, and Belmont. If you need speed and 24-hour access, this is your line. You're downtown in about 20 minutes. The Brown Line is a bit more relaxed. It stops at Southport, Paulina, and Wellington. I always tell clients the Red Line is for getting there fast and Brown Line is the scenic route. It's above ground, it's quieter, and it cuts right through the residential side of the neighborhood. Pro tip, if you live near Belmont Station, you get the best of both worlds. Red Line and Brown Line, plus the Purple Line Express during rush hours, which skips stops and gets you downtown in no time. If you're not taking the train, the bus system here is a literal grid. The 36 Broadway and 22 Clark run north-south. The 152 Addison cuts across east-west. And DB bike stations are on almost every corner. Since the Lakefront Trail is your backyard, a lot of people just bike to work downtown once the weather gets nice. There's nothing like starting your day with a ride along Lake Michigan instead of sitting in traffic. Now, if you have a car, parking is generally terrible. And you better learn how to parallel park if you don't know how already. Street parking is permit only in most areas. And even with a permit, you're sometimes circling for 20 minutes looking for a spot. Cubs games? Forget it. Garage parking runs about $250 to $350 a month, depending on location. Some condo buildings include parking, some don't. If you're moving to Chicago and bringing a car, especially if you're used to having designated parking, the best advice I can give you is this. Look for places that come with a designated parking, because relying on street parking can be frustrating, especially in the winter time. Here's what happens here after a big snowfall. People shovel out spots and they try to claim them by putting chairs or cones on the streets. It's called Dibs, and while it's technically not legal, it is very much a Chicago thing. All right, let's talk about what your actual day-to-day life looks like in Lakeview. Coffee, you got Cafe Tola on Southport, Heritage Bike and Coffee on Lincoln. It's literally a custom bike shop and a coffee bar in one. And Intelligentsia on Broadway for that serious third way coffee experience, just to name a few. But there are so many other options, including probably a dozen Starbucks scattered around the area. So you have serious options here. For food, Coda di Volpe on Southport is incredible Southern Italian. Wood on Halsted Farm Bar is great for that farm-to-table gastropub feel. If you want French, La Petite Marcel on Broadway is an absolute must. Brunch, Wild and Angelina on Broadway, Chicago Diner on Halsted, famous for being meat-free since '83, but trust me, their brunch is incredible. There's so many options here in Lakeview. You can literally eat your way through the world here. The hardest thing is choosing where to eat. And if you're into fitness like me, you have Orange Theory, Crosstown Fitness, boutique yoga studios everywhere. Lakeview Athletic Club is massive. It has climbing wall, pool, the works. Now for groceries, you got Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Jewel, Mariano's. The point is you have everything you need within 10-minute walk. That's the beauty of Lakeview. Urban convenience with neighborhood charm. But now let me show you why choosing the right part of Lakeview actually matters. Let's start on the east side and work our way west. East Lakeview is the closest to the lake. We're talking Broadway to Lake Michigan, Diversey to Irving Park. This is where you see all the high-rise buildings mixed with vintage courtyards and classic Chicago walk-ups. It's very urban, lots of restaurants on Broadway, which I already talked about, coffee shops, bars, grocery stores. But here's what people don't realize. As you get closer to the lake, away from Broadway, it gets quieter. It just feels more residential and calm. Oh, and one more thing that people don't talk about often, it's colder here, like noticeably colder than West Lakeview. The wind chill from the lake here is real, and in the winter, it's brutal. So if you're someone who's already cold all the time, like me, just know that East Lakeview is going to test you, and layer up. Dress warmly. Now, to an outsider, East Lakeview may seem like the cheapest part of Lakeview. One bedrooms start around $250,000 to $350,000 for something basic. Two bedrooms are more like $400,000 to $650,000. But here's the catch: HOA fees. In high rises, which is where you'll see all these lower prices, you're looking at $500 to $1,000 a month in HOA fees on top of your mortgage. And typically, the older the building, the higher the fees. So this is something to factor in. As we move west, next up is Boystown, officially called Northalsted. This is the heart of Chicago's LGBTQ+ community, Halsted Street from Belmont to Addison. This is the first officially recognized gay village in the United States, and the energy here is incredible. It's vibrant, it's alive, welcoming. You see the rainbow pylons, the pride flags. There's always something happening. In the summer, restaurant patios and the whole Halsted corridor just lights up. This is where Chicago Pride Parade takes place every June. And if you've never been, it's one of the biggest in the country. You have beautiful vintage Greystone walk-up buildings with tons of character here. Smaller boutique condo buildings and some newer construction mixed in. All right, let's talk numbers. Condos range from $350,000 to $800,000 depending on the size and age. Newer construction can go $900,000 and up. Single-family homes start around $850,000 and go up to $2 million or more for something fully renovated. Pretty comparable to East Lakeview, but you're getting more of that neighborhood character and community feel. Next up, we have Wrigleyville, probably one of the most known parts of Lakeview that sometimes gets a bad rep, and I want to clear some things up. Wrigleyville is centered around Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs. And if you love baseball, which most Chicagoans do, this is heaven. You can walk to games, you're in the heart of the action, the energy on the game day is electric. But when people hear Wrigleyville, they think it's all sports bars and chaos. But walk 3 blocks in any direction from the stadium and it's quiet, upscale, and very residential. Gorgeous homes, tree-lined streets, some of the largest, most expensive homes in all of Lakeview are right here. But if I'm being completely honest, with 81 home games plus concerts, it gets crowded. The streets fill up, parking becomes impossible, and even running to the grocery store can be a hassle if you're driving. So if you're someone who gets easily overstimulated or you work from home and need quiet during the day, you either need to be on those residential blocks far away from the stadium, or you need to pick a different part of Lakeview. But if you're social, you love sports, you want to be where the action is, this is it. Condos here range from $350,000 to $800,000. New construction condos start around $1 million. Those beautiful single-family homes near the park, you're looking at about $1.5 million up to $3 million or more for larger, newer construction. If you're buying here and you're bringing a car, just make sure that place comes with designated parking. Now we're getting into Southport Corridor, which is honestly one of my personal favorites. Southport Avenue from Belmont up to Irving Park is this family-friendly heart of Lakeview. This is the shopping and dining mecca of the area. It is lively without being overwhelming. You have boutique shopping, amazing restaurants, neighborhood energy, but it still feels calm and livable, like a small town in the middle of a city. With Brown Line right on Southport and Edison, it doesn't get much better than this. You have Music Box Theater here, which is this gorgeous old movie theater that shows indie films and classics, one of my favorite spots in all of Chicago. There's a great mix of independent boutiques along brands like Lululemon and Anthropologie, tons of coffee shops and great restaurants like Taco and Blondie, Coda di Volpe, Crosby's, and so many more. And right here on Southport is Blaine Elementary, which consistently ranks one of the top public Chicago schools. It's really beautiful to walk around here. You have tree-lined streets with gray stone buildings and gorgeous newer construction homes mixed in with condo boutique buildings. Now you're probably thinking, okay Dee, all this sounds great, but what am I actually looking at price-wise? This is the most expensive part of Lakeview. Condos generally range from $500,000 to $900,000. Single-family homes are typically $1.5 to $3 million or more, depending on a block, lot size, and finishes. It's premium pricing, but you're paying for that walkability, schools, and that sense of community. And finally, West Lakeview. West Lakeview is much more residential. You have mature tree-lined streets, more single-family homes and townhomes, 2 and 3 flats, boutique condo buildings. The vibe here is quieter. It's more neighborhood focused. You have parks like Chi Chi Wang and Hamlin Park nearby, as well as a bunch of smaller ones. This area is known for great schools like Burley Elementary and Yan, both of which consistently rank as the top public elementary schools in Chicago. So here's the thing about West Lakeview. You won't find many one-bedroom condos here. 2-bedroom condos are generally priced between $550,000 and $750,000 for something updated with in-unit laundry and parking. Higher-end condos, newer walk-ups, some with rooftop decks, range from $800,000 to $1.5 million and up. Entry-level single-family homes, meaning tear-downs or something that needs major renovation, start at around $700,000 to $800,000. Move-in-ready homes are priced between $900,000 to $1.5 million. Larger, renovated, or new construction homes range from $1.5 to $3 million or more. So West Lakeview offers a lot of options at different price points depending on where you are in life. And for a lot of my clients, Buying a condo or a townhome is a smart way to get your foot in the neighborhood. So those are your 5 options: East Lakeview, Boystown, Wrigleyville, Southport, and West Lakeview. Each one completely different. And if you're watching this and thinking, okay, but I need help figuring out which one is right for me, that's exactly what my team and I specialize in. Our contact info is in the description, and whether you're moving in 30 days or 3 months, we'd love to help you make a smooth move to Chicago. All right, now let's talk about the part that nobody likes: property taxes. Property taxes in Chicago are not cheap. You're looking at roughly 1.5 to 2% of your home's value per year. So if you buy a $1 million home, just to make the math easy, budget $15,000 to $20,000 a year in property taxes. It's one of the highest in the country, so just be aware. Now, if you're coming from Manhattan or San Francisco, Lakeview prices are probably going to feel like a bargain. But if you're coming from a smaller market, it may be expensive. Another thing to consider, as of right now in 2026, we're seeing homes sell fast. Lakeview is averaging 30 to 60 days on the market, but it's not unusual to see good homes that are priced right sell in a matter of days with multiple offers. Why? Because we have very low inventory here. And this is where having someone who knows the market and has access to private listings and can move quickly really matters. Because the best properties are sometimes gone before they even hit the market. Okay, so now let's talk about the schools. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have kids, I don't plan to have kids, hear me out because this is important. Both of my daughters went to Burley Elementary here in West Lakeview, and that school district is a huge reason why West Lakeview is so desirable. Other elementary schools in Lakeview are Nettlehorst, Hawthorne, Blaine, and Yon in West Lakeview. But just be sure to look at CPS school boundaries and don't assume that the school that is closest to your home is your neighborhood school. Boundaries can be confusing, and that is something that I help clients with all the time. There are also great private, Catholic, and Montessori options. So if schools are important to you, Lakeview is one of the best places to be. And this is why so many families choose to stay here instead of moving to suburbs. Even if you're not planning on having kids, buying in a good school district is a good investment because of how it affects your resale value. So there you have it. We covered all 5 parts. The walkability is off the charts. Public transportation is great. You honestly don't need a car. If you're thinking about making the move to Lakeview or anywhere in Chicago, I've put together a free relocation guide. It has detailed neighborhood descriptions, current market data, school information. The link is in the description, so be sure to grab it. And if this is your first time on our channel and you want to know everything about Chicago and its neighborhoods, be sure to subscribe so you can be the first to know about the current market in Chicago. I make videos like this every week, and I would love to see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.